Hey, what's up, guys? Installing an amplifier here on a 2023 Hyundai Sonata SE. This is a factory stereo, nothing fancy. It's the 8-inch, not the 10-inch. So if you have the Bose sound system, this probably won't apply to you. For everyone else that has the same stereo without an amplifier, I'm gonna go and show you how to remove this so that you can access the wires in the back and tap in your line output converter to add your amplifier. So first things first, you're going to want to remove, and bear with me here because I'm kind of working with one hand. You got this little plastic piece back here, little cover. Remove that piece. Pretty easy. Get a plastic pry tool. You're going to get kind of back in there, pry up. Do your best not to make too much damage. Once you got it, you can pretty much lift it up with your hands. Boom, pretty easy. You got two screws, one on this side, one on that side right there. Take those out. I'm gonna come here and do the same thing with this panel. Basically right there, right below, you can see there's like a little gap right there. Get your plastic pry tool and you just pry all the way along the side right there, and this piece right there will all come off. You'll have a couple of screws, I think one right here in the corner and then two here underneath. I'll pause the video right there and I'll come back once I have it off. All right, so I'm working on getting this piece off right here. Alright guys, I got this piece off, and pretty simple. I kind of just worked my way from here, got in between here with my plastic pry tool, and pulled hard enough to unlatch these. It'll unlatch kind of like in this area here, and this side will stay stuck. Kind of did the same thing here, just kind of worked my way along that edge and got that piece out. And here it is. It's a pretty long piece, a bunch of little plastic clips, nothing too crazy. I mean, might feel like you're gonna break it, but really, as long as you're not pulling from here and bending it too far, really nothing will happen. Just kind of pull here once, wherever you feel it kind of getting snagged, just work your way closer to that edge, pull. Once you get that loose, work your way down all the way through. It really won't break. It's pretty easy and doesn't feel too delicate. From that point forward, you're gonna have a screw here, and then you're gonna have two more, one over here and then one right there in that corner. Total of 3 screws. Once you take that part off, it's gonna allow you to pull on this plastic bezel right here where these vents are all kind of connected. This is where it kind of gets tricky because these are really hard to pull off. There's like brackets here and up top. What I've learned is that you don't need to pull the whole thing off. I kind of just pull hard along here, and there's a bunch of plastic clips all the way along once you have those screws off. And you'll pull it back just a hair, just enough to where you can loosen the radio. Okay, but first what I'm going to do before I even go that far, I'm going to take this screw off here because that's where the radio is attached. Right here. One back here. And then one back here. Okay. Be careful because they're not like super far in there, but if it falls down, you know, it might fall behind the panel. So not too difficult. Just be cautious when you're taking those back ones out. This one's kind of right here in the front, so not too difficult. Take your two off in the back of the stereo like we talked about earlier, and then your radio will be loose, but it is clipped in the back. Once you have those screws out, you'll still feel snug, but it's fine. It's just clips holding it in place. So I'm going to take off those screws, come back, pull this out for you. Alright guys, I got those screws out. 2 up top, one in that corner, and then the 2 kind of back there that's holding the stereo in place. And then I went ahead and started pulling back on this whole piece right here, and it runs all the way down to the edge. But really all I'm doing is I'm pulling this far enough back to where these clips kind of come out, and then they're resting on top of the plastic. They're pretty hard. They're not going to break them, and they're covered in I mean, it's really strong plastic. There's a hole where it sits in back there, and if you pull hard enough on all of them, they'll kind of lift up and hold themselves in place all throughout the stereo. Like I said, you don't really have to take this whole thing off unless you absolutely want to. Again, DIYer, so I'm not a huge pro, but it works. And then once you're there, if you do a quick little tug on the stereo, you'll break it free. There's some plastic clips. There you go. See, I got it loose. I got my plastic clips loose. Now the whole stereo is kind of loose, and then you'll see why you have to break this back a little bit is because you got these like little black tabs down here. Yeah, and they'll, if this is pushed all the way back in, you won't be able to pull the tabs out that hold the stereo in place. So now that they're loose, I can actually lift up over this plastic bezel, and now my stereo is loose, and it'll just kind of slide out. And that's it. You have access to your wires back here. I'll see if I can make a video of the schematics. I don't really have schematics. Kind of just tested some wires back there to see which ones run to the front speakers, but currently I'm trying to troubleshoot. So it worked out. I just might have had a positive and negative kind of backwards. So that's what I'm working on right now. I'll let you guys know in another video.